the freshest wave of glory to hit the Bahamas.
Hey, it's an amazing day here at Glory 93.9 FM. It's 12:30, so you know exactly what that means. You're tuned in and, of course, always locked and loaded on the shift with yours truly. Thank you for choosing Glory FM. Whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or even maybe watching a TikTok reel anywhere around the world, I want to say thank you for tuning into the shift. Before we begin today's conversation, I want to pause for a moment and talk about a word that many of us hear often, but may not always reflect on how deeply this word affects us. And that word is resilience. Resilience is commonly defined as the ability to recover from difficulty, to adapt in the face of adversity, and to keep moving forward even when circumstances are challenging. Man, listen, that's a mouthful, right? Right? But it is to keep moving even when circumstances are challenging. It is not the absence of struggle, but the strength to rise again after it. One quote says, "Resilient is knowing that you are the only one who has the power and the responsibility to pick yourself back up." Another reminds us that hard times may test you, but they do not what? Define you. Man, I don't know who that's for today, but whatever you're going through, it does not define you. It may test you, but it is not defining who you are and who God has called you to be. I want to say this. Scripture also speaks about the spirit of resilience. In the book of Isaiah, we read, "But they that wait upon the Lord, he shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." That passage reminds us that resilience, it's not just physical or emotional strength, but it is spiritual renewal. All right. History gives us examples, and we can go on about this all day, right? A man who spent 27 years in prison for standing up for justice in his country. Many believe that, after 27 years, it would break his spirit. After 27 years, he would be discouraged. After 27 years, he would come out and just, wither away and die. But instead, when he was released, he wasn't released with bitterness. He wasn't released with rage, but he was released with determination and vision, eventually leading his nation to reconciliation. His life became that symbol of resilience, that no matter how long you try to lock me away, no matter how long you try to keep me silent, I will emerge because I have vision, I have determination, and most of all, resilience. I want you to take a moment and even reflect on the areas of your life where resilience may need to grow. I want you to think about that personal area, the private battles, those disappointments or even challenges that require inner strength. Think about that family relationship that, it requires some patience. It requires forgiveness. It requires commitment, even in your career or your calling, your faith or your spiritual life, mental and emotional well-being, all of these areas of your life, learning how to recover from stress and setbacks and discouragement, or even concerning your purpose. The reason you keep moving forward, even when the journey becomes difficult. I'll say this because we have an amazing show ahead of us today. Resilience, it grows. It grows when we decide that challenges are no longer the end of our stories. It grows when we choose to stand and try again, dust ourselves off and try again, and to believe that our strength can be renewed. Shifters, it's time to lock in. Whether you're cruising in your car, whether you're watching on Facebook, a worldwide listener, maybe on YouTube, even rewatching this broadcast, be sure to like and share today's show, man. Listen, I'm excited. I don't know if you can see it in the way I'm talking. I'm excited for today's show. We're locked in, of course, every Monday through Friday, same time, same place, favorite station with your favorite person right here on Glory FM. And Shifters, you know, per usual, it's an interactive experience, so I need to hear from you. Type in those comment section. I already see. Pastor Carmen Cornish, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. I already see the Shifters in the comment section. So with that being said, the call and text lines, they're open. They're in the caption on your screen and in the comment section. Today, the call line is 242-827-2543. And of course, the text line is 242-817-2544. Now, if you want me to get to your comment very quickly, I would suggest using the comment section, right? But of course, to the faithful shifters, drop a shifters in the comment section because, you know, I'm always excited to hear from you. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. You shifters make my days so amazing. Every Monday, through Friday, right? Pre-show, post-show, during show, you guys are locked in with me. And I just want to pause and say a special thank you to the faithful shifters. Now, today's topic, Lord, now listen, anytime y'all see my husband in the comment section, he knows something about to go. He knows something about to go down, right? So today's topic is resilient leadership, a call to lead. And I know that I could not do this topic alone. Our guest today is the senior pastor of Mount Tabor Church right here in Nassau, the Bahamas, with decades of experience in mentoring and training. Y'all, but I can't laugh. And training leaders. Bishop Ellis has devoted his life literally to guiding others in faith, leadership, and personal growth. He is a general in the faith, a husband, father, and most of all, a man of prayer. Today, we'll talk about resilience, leadership, and the principles that help individuals, communities, and maybe just your personal life grow in challenging seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, shifters, could you help me welcome the one, the only Bishop Delton Ellis? Bishop.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you so much, Pastor Joinae. It's a pleasure to be here with you on my day off. It's just a pleasure to be
on your day off. Bishop, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Resilient leaders got to know when to take rest.
My God. My Bishop, start preaching. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, Bishop, congratulations are in order, right? Your first pastoral anniversary.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'll say it like this. It's the first observed, but I'm hitting 2 years.
My God.
We opted not to celebrate the first year and just to see how things would go. And so the committee decided let's do it this year. And we had a fantastic night. Last night was a night of laughter. Just a night of laughter and funs. They pull up all my baby pictures and all, all this kind of stuff. And so it had me and my wife in the hot chair asking us questions.
Oh, wow.
Das Quay was there. Kelly Brown, one of our own in-house comedians. They had Junkanoo and all.
My God.
So it was just a blast last night, and we look forward to Sunday coming. Of course, Sunday we're just doing one service, 7:15 a.m. They say, Bishop, 7:15. Yes, indeed. I'm an early riser. We're doing 7:15 service, 9:30 breakfast, and then I'm done. When I'm going to church 11 o'clock, I'll be going home to sleep.
Well, Bishop, I have Lady Anna right here on the live. I have to put a comment on the screen because Lady Anna is locked in.
Well, yes, indeed. They're there. All right. Hey, Anna.
Well, Bishop, like I mentioned earlier, today's topic is resilient leader, or resilient leaders rather, a call, or really answering the call. I have my own versions of this
Yes.
in my brain. A call to lead, right?
No problem.
I want to start by asking this. If you were to define the word resilience, how would you describe it?
The capacity to withstand pressure. Everybody can handle pressure. And when you look at the word resilient, the etymology of resilient means to bounce back. So that means you could handle pressure and you could still bounce back even though people put pressure on you.
My God.
I've always made this statement to our church that I'm a crisis manager. So when you are a resilient leader, you can't really crack under pressure. You got to know how to get the pressure, hold the pressure, withstand the pressure, bounce back, and not just go forward, but be able to carry people with you.
Wow. Bishop, you said something. You are a crisis manager.
Absolutely.
How does one become a crisis manager? Is that something that you're born with, or that's just something you grow
It's a
into?
combination of both. You could be born, because all of us are, but you have to be processed. See, a lot of people avoid being processed. They see a leader, but they see the glory. They don't know what you went through to make it up to where you are now. And
Great.
so I've been processed. I've been, I always make this statement just to be careful. There are certain things I can't say because I'm not sure the statute of limitation run out yet. But I've been processed. I've had where house destroyed by fire after 3 months of being built. Now my house was not destroyed by accidental fire. It was destroyed because somebody set my house on fire.
Wow.
All right, but that did not keep me bitter. I was able to bounce back. I sent my wife away to my family. I say, y'all deal with her. Let me deal with the crisis that's over here.
Wow.
I stayed. Sunday morning I was in church. That happened on a Friday. Sunday I was in church in new clothes.
Giving God the glory.
That's what I'm talking about.
My God.
So a lot of times people don't like being processed. I've had gun held on me. I've run for my life before. And so now you have to know how to be able to be processed, withstand pressure, bounce back, and in your bouncing back, carry some people with you.
Holy Ghost. Bishop, you just said a lot. And you spent years training
Yes.
leaders and, countless places you've been. And, we've had conversations about this. But have you found yourself in moments where you suddenly had to live the principles that you once taught or continue to teach?
Absolutely. There are times when I would say to people, you have to know how to get over it and move on. Then I found myself, all right, now let's see if you could get over it.
And move on.
Exactly.
Jesus.
So a lot of times and that's why I say people have to be processed, because there are times when we could tell people stuff because it's what we learned from the book. But now you got to know how to deal with that based on what you learned from your life. Because you could read it in the book with somebody else, but now living it out is
Something
another
different.
thing.
Something different.
And so I've been in Mount Tabor where under the leadership of Bishop Ellis, some people have tagged him wrong, but what they have to realize is he is a giant maker. All right, which means that you're going to be processed under Bishop Ellis. He's a taskmaster to develop you for where you are heading. And if you were able to withstand it, deal with it, and go on. Now, I could tell you now, I had my moments when I wanted to quit Mount Tabor. As a matter of fact, I just started to say, all y'all go to hell, and let me go now. And let me go where I'm going. All right? I've been there.
My God.
I've been there. I've said it. I've cried. But people don't see my cry publicly. So as a resilient leader, Pastor Joinae, what you also have to do is not just withstand pressure, stay focused, carry people with you, but also encourage them while you're still trying to go through.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus,
Yeah.
what is this today? What lesson, Bishop, in particular, has become more real to you now than in comparison to when you were teaching it? One lesson.
Um, well, I have to bring up sad story in order to give you that.
That's all right, Bishop. We hear the
Uh,
story.
2 years ago, our church was processed. And what I learned then is you have to know how to wear people loose, because people will drop you at the whim of a hat. And if you are living on a crutch and people are your crutches and they pull out from you without notice, then you're gone.
Wow.
So you have to know how to stand and stand with God and know how to keep moving despite the fact when pressure, crisis, or all these challenges and stuff hit you.
Wow. What would you say to that leader, that senior pastor that's listening now that may have suffered, maybe a traumatic experience within their church,
Right.
and they may have no one to lean on? They don't know what to do. They don't know what is next. How would you speak to that leader now based on all that you've experienced thus far?
That's the best time when you really need to turn your ear to the ground. You got to hear from God. When I was dealing with Mount Tabor, I wasn't taking a chance going on the pulpit unless I heard from God. And I said to our congregation, every Sunday I'm asking God, what's next? What's next? And so my main sermon to Mount Tabor was stay focused. And so I want to say to a pastor, everybody got to pass through crisis, man. Jesus had crisis. Everybody will have crisis. But what keeps you in crisis and sustains you is purpose. And so if you understand why you've been called, what you've been called for. So I knew in my crisis, buddy, you've been going through this crisis. People are turning their back on you. They're expecting you to fail. And you got to keep pushing and trusting God.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure. That's why I said withstand pressure and be able to bounce back and carry people with you. You see? So our first Sunday, after I didn't preach, I went down to the altar and I said, anybody need a hug?
My God.
All right. And they asked me, well, Bishop, how you was able to do that and come encourage us and do this? I said, man, that's when I really trusted God to get me through the process. And last night, to listen to some of our members talk about the sermons, what I gave to them in the midst of the crisis and how it helped them was also encouraging now for me.
Wow. I vividly remember, and I hope I'm quoting it correctly, you had a sermon entitled The Portals Are Open, or
The portals are open.
The Portals Are Opening.
Portals are opening, mantles are falling.
That's it.
Yeah.
See, I know I missed a part of it. And man, listen, that place was tear right up.
Absolutely.
When I say tear right up,
That's
up.
one of the Sundays you was there when I didn't preach.
Exactly. I was
Yes,
there.
I remember one of those. Yes.
I was there. And
Yes.
to experience that, even, just thinking about all that, leaders go through, senior pastors go through, just believers go through, to hear that level of message based on the circumstance, it's commendable, Bishop.
Thank you.
Commendable.
Thank you.
I just had to add that in. That was one for the books.
Sure.
That was one for the books.
Now, people who know me, let's go back even a bit during COVID.
Yes, sir.
All right. During COVID, I had an experience that I'd never had before in my life. And that was in my living room for almost 5 hours. My wife, my children, nor myself knew what to do with me.
Jesus.
I just had an encounter on the floor in the living room with the Lord. And when I was done with this encounter, I heard these words, pray the people through. So I got up, excited with God. That was the Easter weekend. So I had a 72-hour prayer watch for Easter. I had people praying all through that prayer watch. And then the Lord dropped this thing on me. Pray until you hear an official declaration that COVID was over. Okay, I could do this. 20 days, 30 days. I don't know nothing but no pandemic. Never heard the word.
Wow.
So I'm thinking 30 days. It lasted 3 years.
Oh my God.
So 3 years, I got up 3 times a week, and on special holidays at 5 o'clock,
Pray.
for 1 hour, with no response from people,
My God.
and had to pray people through. And Joinae, I watched the portals open.
Wow.
I told people that COVID was a hard time because all of us were touched by somebody we lost by death. But COVID was a turning point in my life.
Wow.
It was the point where God showed me different. And so COVID for me was not a breaking. It was a making.
Wow.
Because I went from struggling to put stuff in your house, struggling to keep the light on, struggling to do this, to cars and trucks pulling up in my yard and dropping off groceries to share with people.
Wow.
That's what I experienced. So I never asked the bank to hold my loans till later. Never asked BEC. Never asked the cable, because I watched God come through for me because of obedience.
Wow.
And that's how things, as a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you, that prayer watch over the 3 years, we raised a little under $150,000 and gave out little over 160.
Wow.
Because groceries and all that kind of stuff, again, crisis. And then I watched myself over every major hurricane, Dorian, Matthew, Wilma, all of those, I galvanized resources and reached out to people to help them in time of crisis. So God was preparing me for what was taking place, what would take place at Mount Tabor, because he was building me to know how to bring people back in the midst of a crisis.
Bishop, you said something about obedience.
Absolutely.
Could you open that up just a little bit more for our listening audience? Maybe
Sure.
someone tuning in today, God gave them an instruction. And like you mentioned, you said when you heard when you hear that declaration that it's ended,
Right.
that's when you go. Someone may start 1 year in, 2 years in, 2.5 years. Lord, this is looking bleak, and
Right.
I know you told me to do this particular
Right.
thing, but we can get distracted along the way.
Sure.
Could you talk to us about that for a moment?
All right, I'll talk to you with a story. When I got the call, I'm a charter member of Mount Tabor. Went to Freeport for my job. McDonald's transferred me to Freeport. A few years later, Bishop Ellis asked me if I would come back and work at the church full time. I had car, I had a house, I had over 20 grand in fixed deposits, savings account. I had all that stuff. And one morning I woke up, I called Bishop Ellis. I said, I had a dream that you talked to me last night and asked me. He said, son, I had no dream. I talked to you last night.
Oh,
And you said you will make your way to Nassau to come work. My wife and I packed up, came back to Nassau. And in 1 year, lost my car, lost my $20,000 fix,
12
lost my savings, and had no place to stay of my own, struggling with clothes, and I said, wait a minute now. I know I heard the voice of God
Bishop.
telling me to
Bishop.
come. But people don't want that, Joinae. They hear God, but now God processing you to get you to where he wants you, but we short circuit the process.
Indeed.
And never make it to the real assignment that God had. He brought me from Freeport while I was doing good. Oh, I had a business, a thriving one.
Yes, sir.
That I gave up when I was leaving. Now, see, so people don't understand some of this stuff now that I'm experiencing. I'm experienced in this stuff now because I've been processed. And most people avoid the process. So my wife will tell you, Days when we couldn't afford bottled water. Days. You can't get food on your table. I'm the first assistant in Mount Tabor, you know.
My God.
I work in full time. I in the church, and the church see me praising God, giving God the glory. Never miss me. But we ain't quite sure what we can eat after church.
My God.
I done had those days, my brothers and sisters, and I watched God brought my wife and family and my children through that process. Now where those things are not a struggle to me.
My God.
I've been giving out food. I've been giving out stuff. So what God did for me was, let me go through the process, and now, watch this. He helped me now to provide these stuff for people who are going through that process.
Wow, Bishop, that's something, and many don't endure that process. They
That's
give
pressure.
up. They give up mid process, and even with your experience in mentoring others, and what qualities do you believe like leaders really need today for their leadership to last?
You gotta have stickability, patience. Stickability, patience, and this new word that came out when millennials and them started to coming around, adaptability. If you are a leader and don't know how to adapt to the changes and the times, you could get left behind. You have to know how to adapt, you have to know how to stick, and you have to know how to have that focus and purpose will drive you. So I consider I'm a Gen X by generation, but I'm a cusper by origin, meaning that I know how to bridge the gaps. That's why at Mount Tabor, the 6 generations in our church are all working together. That's why I'll have a senior Bible study.
I was waiting for you to tell us the story again, Bishop, because
That's why I'll have a senior Bible study,
point.
because I understand seniors. All right. Of course, most of y'all know Dr. Felicia. Y'all know Firestarter. She was with me at one point, and we had this thing where I use what we call reverse mentorship. So most people, because you older, you will say, well, I'm going to mentor you.
That's interesting, Bishop.
Yeah. She was younger.
Wow.
I said, why don't you mentor me?
Wow.
Now, I didn't tell her, in your mentoring me, I will be mentoring you the same time.
Wow. Wow, that's good.
All right?
That's good.
So Fire had the millennial vibes. I had...
Bishop, what you know about vibes?
you
Lord,
sure?
what is
Yeah.
this today? Bishop said millennial
I
vibes.
told you I'm a cusper. I know how to bridge the generations. So my alphas at church love me. They just coming around. But my alpha have an opportunity. My Gen Zs know how to talk to me. All right? So what you have to do, but I grew up old school. I grew up with daddy, grew up with papa, grew up with the old people. So I understood them. So I said to her, when she would say, well, we like this, I said, now let me help you understand what you just said. So I give you a joke. I hope they don't give me trouble for this on the radio. But we sent her for dinner, for lunch one time, and the 6 pastors were sitting down in the lunchroom. We sent her to pick up Kentucky. And so she picked up the Kentucky, and she brought the Kentucky, and we sitting down to the table eating. I said, come eat with us. So she sat down. In the midst of her eating, Firestarter said, Bishop, you want my bread? Everybody stopped. I said, what? She said, what you mean? I said, baby, slow down 1 minute.
Take it down.
I said, people my age and older ask us if we want the roll. Don't ask us if we want your bread, because we ain't talking but no bread from Kentucky, whole wheat or wholesome. That's not the language of my generation.
Great God.
So I said, when you in our company, you can't use, I want my bread. Would you like to have my roll?
Yes, sir.
You see my point?
Yes, sir.
So now this is teachable moments. Let me help you understand my generation and you teaching me your generation the same time. It's called reverse mentorship.
I love it. I love it. Pastor comment in the comments. Say, Lord Jesus.
That's our understanding. That's what we know.
Wow.
So when you know the language, see, because now y'all came with, boy, you look bad, eh? But I mean, and y'all mean you look good.
You look good.
All right, as far as we concerned, somebody tell you look bad, you
look
hold your
bad.
head down in shame. All right, but that's where we at. So I'd say to our pastor, hang in there, man. I know it's tough, but if you believe God called you, trust him to get you through the process. Trust him to get you through and manage what he's given you. And when you have proven yourself faithful, he will give you more.
He will give you more.
He will give you more.
That's Bishop. You're saying so much good things, right? Bishop, I have this question.
Yes.
Okay. We hear this phrase often. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And
Right.
it sounds good,
Right.
but could you unpack even just the mental fortitude that's required to be a senior leader or even
Sure.
someone just in leadership?
Right.
And it's good for us to hear about faith and resilience and all these other things, but sometimes mentally people just can't get there.
Right.
How could
Right.
you help us with that?
You have to decide if this is what you want and be prepared to go for it. There are some things where you must also check your passion. All right? See where your passion lies. See if you really want to do great exploit for God, because I'm going to say this one more time. Everybody will be processed. Everybody will be processed.
Jesus.
Now, I keep hearing this for real sometime. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But you got to get to the point where you can finish.
You gotta get there first.
You got to get to the point where you finish. Micah makes this statement in Micah chapter 7, verse 8. He says, rejoice not against me, O my enemies. Watch what he said. When I fall, I shall rise. Not I might. Not there's a possibility.
Preach, Bishop.
But I shall rise. Micah was speaking to his enemies, and so your enemy could also be your crisis. Don't rejoice while I going through.
My God. Preach,
All right,
Bishop.
because I coming back.
Bouncing back.
That's what resilience means.
Bounce back.
Bounce back. When I was teaching on the 12 gates of the city,
Yes, sir.
I taught on the gate of God. The gate of God is I will bounce back. That's what God means. I coming back. You could look at me. You could punish me. You could step on me. You could stab me in my back. You could do what you want to do. But this ain't over yet.
Oh, God. That's what I
I'm
feel like.
coming back. And that's the fortitude and the attitude you have to take if you want to survive. Now, if you want to be crushed, getting crushed is easy. People will crush you for nothing. But you have to determine, boy, this ain't going down like this. And there's no way. So I asked God one question. I said, now, God, I was the first assistant for Mount Tabor for 24 years. Didn't want a pastor. Walk away from pastoring. Already retired from pastoring. Then you could call me when the church less than half now. What you dealing with?
Jesus.
All right, so all these years I done have built this church. Now, 70% of the people gone. Now you want me step in.
Crisis manager.
Absolutely.
Crisis manager. Good God from fire.
Absolutely. You got to know what you've been called for. So I accepted the mandate. One of the things happened was, Bishop, the church asked me, and I said, no problem. I'll take the church through. So no problem. And the first weekend, I said to my wife, I said, buckle your seatbelts because we in for the long haul.
This could be a ride.
Yeah, we in for the long haul. So 6 months later, the church decide now they want a pastor. So Bishop said, I ain't going to ask Bishop Delton because he done turned me down twice. All right? And to cut it short, he came. And before he could ask me, I answered.
Wow.
I said, Bishop, if you had asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said yes. But watch this.
Wow.
I didn't know what it meant. But during Mount Tabor's transition, I heard these words from God that I kept for 2 years. Real cliches. Sit small. Tell your name, God.
Ooh.
That's what I heard God say. And I came to church. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know it meant for Mount Tabor. I didn't know what it meant. All I heard was, sit small and tell your name, God. I said, now, God, you know, I don't deal with no cliche stuff. I ain't no cliche preacher. All right? But that's what I heard.
Wow.
And that's what I did. As a matter of fact, my name was, when they asked, Bishop says, 3 of us here in the room, and I didn't retire. I ain't going back. The next fella in the room say, well, I will assist Bishop Delton. So what choice I had? What choice I had? So I walk out there. I went home the first day, and I said to my wife too, I said, baby, this was, and I thought, this is a tough one. And I went to praying. I went to fasting. All right, God. I think my first message was on preparing for your future, but it was in Isaiah talking about fasting.
Wow.
And that's how we made it through.
Wow.
So I wrote a book, Focusing for a Better View, which is really a compilation of the first 6 sermons I preached at Mount Tabor.
Wow.
See?
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
tell you it's a lot, Johnny.
No, it is, and it's so interesting because you said something about answering the call or answering the question before he even asked. And maybe there is someone listening today, someone tuning in today, or maybe even rewatching this broadcast that is struggling with answering that call, struggling with moving to that next level, or even walking in that, or that God ordained position, and they are hesitant, they are fearful, they are looking at the numbers, they're looking at the state of whatever that situation may be,
Right.
and say, you know something, I may not make it through this. What would you say to that person today?
Get a voice for your ear. Number 1, from God, but you have to lock in on a voice to speak to you. Tori Phillips was that voice for me. All right? Tori Phillips was that voice that kept speaking. As a matter of fact, one day I was preaching and I went home and my mind could not get off of Tori Phillips. And the Lord said, call him for Sunday. I called him and he answered me by text. I saw the text, Pastor Joinae, on the Sunday night. And I answer it. Because I say, God, if that ain't the right answer, change it before I get up in the morning. So I don't know if he did say no or yes. But that morning when I got up, he said, boy, Bishop, I've been out of my congregation for 2 weeks, but I heard God.
Wow.
And he came. And he said some stuff that carried me. Then I brought him back to Mount Tabor. Watch this now. Came back to Mount Tabor last year. And he came back with the Gideon message. I said, what in the world is this? I trying to build. And God, you send my voice to tell me I have too much. Or when he used the word, you will do more with less. And every other week I had to report to Mount Tabor. Let me help you all understand. Let me put some of this stuff in context. So I'm talking to your leader. Don't think I'm ducking you now. I'm putting this thing in context. And I watched God do more with less people with Mount Tabor. And I saw the favor of God come out. So if you are obedient, God, you've been preaching. Pastor, you've been preaching. God will give you provision for your vision. Why you don't believe it?
Jesus.
You gotta believe it. Anyhow, let me say this piece. Here's the posture I take, Johnny. If I invite a preacher to come to Mount Tabor, and he sends me a note saying, I will come for $3,000 and you need a 50% deposit, he will never see the light of Mount Tabor. Because first of all, you can't come preach faith to me when you don't even believe. You want God You want my people to believe in faith, but you ain't coming to me unless I give you the deposit. You joking. You joking. Never see the light of day. You got to know how to trust God and prove God, be obedient to God, and will everybody treat you fairly? Absolutely not. But the Bible said mark them. So there are 2 or 3 people I ain't going back to. Jesus, 3 of his angel, like Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, all them have to go tell me, go back to this person. All right? But you got to trust God in certain things, and that's what we miss it. We look at the numbers, we look at the finance, but we don't obey the voice of God. And too many pastors are having function to raise money as opposed to trusting God. Y'all could do whatever y'all want to do with that piece there.
My Lord. Now, Bishop, you know, we have the piggyback because you said a lot, right?
Yeah, I apologize.
No,
I get going. I'm sorry.
You could go, Bishop. You could go. But you talked about, you know, when dealing with, you know, difficult situations, when going through a crisis, it's imperative to have that person in your ear.
Yes.
I think, and I don't know much, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that when we go through difficult situations, it is our first thought to isolate. It is our first thought to listen, I don't know who's for me, and I'm not going to, you know, even try my hand, especially after dealing with betrayal, especially after dealing with, you know, a difficult situation. It's difficult to know who to trust. You mentioned Pastor Tori Phillips, I'm correct, but how does one navigate trusting and learning to trust again after difficulty? Maybe there is Bishop, maybe there is a leader that's bleeding right now, going through, you know, that unforgiveness, going through that hurt, that pain, and just trying to navigate how do I trust again? How do I not bleed on the sheep, but still lead them through this crisis?
All right. Asaph said, I almost slipped. And he almost slipped, watch this now, until I went into the house of the Lord. So when people going through, isolation is the worst thing you could do, because the devil will suck you in a corner and he will tell you, you can't trust nobody. These Christians, you gotta come out. All right? God will show you who to lean on. So like I said, Tori was my voice. Of course, your pastor walked with me through this process along with 2 or 3 other pastors. I had about 5. Then, of course, I leaned on you with music. I leaned on your husband to help carry me through. And I said to her, lend me all until I get through this process, get back on my feet. So there has to be somebody, because you can't do ministry alone.
You cannot.
All right? Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. So he was alone.
You're right.
His name Lone Ranger, but he had Tonto. All right? God. So you got to find somebody and lock yourself in that circle and tent. So there was a pastor that literally called me every Sunday for a year. Every Sunday. How was service? How are you doing? How is your family doing? Wow. Then I had another pastor who looked out for me, another bishop. So there was about 5 or 6 of them. Now, will the bulk of people turn your back on you? Yes, absolutely. I thought I had more friends in this city and in this country than what I had when I was going through my crisis.
Wow.
All right? Because I've done more than 400 presentations. I've been in more than 300 churches and places around.
400.
Absolutely. I tell you, I've been on the road for 27 years at an average of 21 churches a year. All right? And so pastors I've helped, people I've helped. And going through my crisis, 90% of them disappeared. But I'm going to say what Micah say. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall rise again. Because God ain't going to let you go down like that if you trust him. So you got to find the one and ride with that. All right. I haven't had a lot of preachers in my church the first year. It was a cycle of 4. That was it. A cycle of 4. And I said to Mount Tabor, I don't want to hear nothing but them again. Yes, again. Because right now, these the ones who I could trust with y'all.
Right.
All right? Because the worst thing I could do now is bring somebody who could scatter what I just tried to gather.
My God.
And so you have to know that. You have to hear that. And so Tori was there, Pastor Carol, Pastor Roll, Bishop Will, I could get in trouble now, Bishop Valentino, and a couple of people were there for me. And then I trusted God. But sometimes it could be a lonely road, but the worst thing you could do is isolation.
I was waiting for Bishop to continue. I didn't have no more questions for Bishop. But I love it because I feel that, it's second nature,
Right.
or culture,
Right.
even if you would say just you go in your corner and you hide, and then, we take that still I rise as if we do it on our own.
Right, right.
And that's dangerous.
It is dangerous. That's how we end up with mental breakdown. That's how we end up with stress. That's how the devil will talk. There's a song that most people heard from Bishop Paul Morton. Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, don't do it without me. Now, most people think that's Bishop Morton's song. That's not Bishop Morton's song. That's Bishop Neil Ellis' song.
Wow.
When Bishop Neil Ellis had a throat issue and couldn't talk for 6 months, he was home. He used to write me letters because he never used to use email back in the day. So he used to send me a letter every day, do this, check for this, check for that. And one day at home, in isolation, the devil told him, you will never preach again. And he uttered these words, Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, don't do it without me. Came out, preached that message. A young lady in the choir picked up the lyric, picked up the words, wrote the song, presented to Bishop. Martin was the guest artist.
My God. My God.
But that song came out of the fact that the devil tell him, you will never preach again.
Jesus.
All his vocal cords were gone. They were all burnt out.
Jesus.
They were all burnt out for late night eating after preaching and service.
Oh Lord Jesus. Lord Bishop. Bishop said it for the people in the back. My God. Okay, Bishop.
Yes.
Now, we're almost to the end of today's show. If you could leave one piece of advice for listeners about resilience and leadership, what would it be?
Don't resist the process. Don't resist it. Let God guide you through the process. Now, it's as easy as I said it. No. I've had crying days. I've had some lonely days. I've had some days when I ask God, what you dealing with?
My God.
If you have to ask him, ask him. But don't you dare throw in that towel. Don't wave no white flag.
My God.
And don't give up and talking about, I ain't going back to church. Now get your behind out of that place
Lord
and
Jesus.
go to church. That's what you got to do. I want to encourage you. No, it ain't going to be easy. But you could make it. You could survive. God will keep you through the process. I will quote this one that most Christians use. 2 Corinthians 4, 8 and 9. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. Perplexed, but not in despair.
Preach, Bishop. Preach, Bishop.
You could bounce back. And listen, have a little laughter. Know how to have some downtime. You got to know how to do that. The
Yes,
church
sir.
understands now. January, February, March, break. So I go on break in April.
Bishop, we gotta
April,
take a
May,
break.
June, July, break. All right? God ain't going to kill you because you missed one Sunday. He ain't going to kill you. And for you, pastor, who think you got to be there every Sunday to preach, you ain't the only one. When you dead and gone, the church going on. Bishop Neil Ellis have retired. Pastor Rakino Munka quit. And the church still there. And I didn't tell them, when I go, the church could be right there.
My God.
I know where. So you got to know how to balance in ministry.
Jesus.
If you don't balance, you will wear yourself right out. We have to stop with pastors dying in the pulpit. Those of you that hit 60, where your replacement? I know you'd ask me one question. I saw
Bishop, go ahead.
Where your replacement? Who you training? Where the millennial person? Where the Gen X person? Where the Gen Z person? Who are you pouring into to take your place? Because one day, you ain't going to be here. You ain't going to be here. I don't care how much you like that church. You ain't going to be here. That church will have another pastor. You will be dead and gone, and that church, the church of the living God, will still be going on.
Thank you, Bishop.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you,
You
Bishop.
ask, I give it to you.
Thank you, Bishop. I want to start by saying thank you so much for accepting this invitation
Thank you for having
to
me.
join me today on the shift. Your wisdom, your jokes, your stories are always so exciting to hear, and
Bless you, man.
I pray that this is not your last time on the shift.
Hey,
Right?
it's up to you. I only come here on invitation.
Right. So I'm going to do my closing now because I'm going to ask you to do one more thing for me. So thank you for all those that tuned in via Glory 93.9 FM, all those on Facebook, YouTube, and of course our worldwide listeners. Thank you for joining us today. You can be sure to catch me every Monday through Friday, same time, same place, favorite station with your favorite person. Now, Bishop, as we close today's show, could you, and we have about 8 minutes on the clock, right?
Okay.
Could you speak a blessing over the shift and the shifters, whatever the Lord gives you to say? We have that time to go forth.
All right. One of the things I want to leave with you is 2 Peter chapter 3, I believe, verse 18. And Peter admonishes the church to grow in grace. Grow in grace. There is a text that says that we enter the throne room to find grace. Then there's a text that says we stand in this grace. So you must enter the grace, you must stand in the grace, and then you must grow in grace. Most people only reach the door of grace, and that is by salvation. And I've said to people, when you enter the door of your house, you don't live in the doorway, in the porch, or in the vestibule of your house. You stay in the bedroom, which is your throne room. And so if you grow in grace, so I want to encourage you as a shifter, the lead shifter. I want to encourage all of the shifters that are tuning in to grow in God's grace. There's the gift of grace as well, because many of you have been graced, all right? And Peter also talks about the manifold wisdom of grace. And so grace will come in many forms. So as you shift and you call yourself a shifter, don't get stuck when you should shift, all right? So be adaptable, be flexible, be responsible, and this one what most young people don't like, be accountable. You've got to be accountable to somebody. So I want to encourage y'all to do well. I want you to know God loves you. You can shift as God has shifted before, from a pillar cloud by day, fire by night. He shifts. One time he was guiding, then the next time he was guarding. So you have to know how to shift as well. So I want to encourage you as you live your life as a shifter, know when it's time to change gears.
My God. Thank you.
Bless you,
and
man.
keep it locked and always loaded. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you much.
Whatever
doing in this season, please don't do it without me. Don't do it without me. You got to tell them for yourself. Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, please don't do it without me. Woo! Don't do it without me. Come on, help me say it. Just say, Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, please don't do it. You gotta tell them for yourself. You gotta tell them for yourself. Don't do it without me. Come on, say it like you mean it. Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, please don't do it without me. No, 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 no. Somebody needs a healing tonight. If you need a healing, just say, Lord, if you're healing in this season, please don't do it without me. No, 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 no. I don't care what the sickness is. Lord, if you heal it. Lord, if you heal it. I know you heal it. Healing in this season, please don't do it without me. No, 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 no. Anybody need a blessing? Anybody need a blessing? Lord, if you're blessing in this season, please don't do it without me. I don't want you to do it without me. Don't do it without me. I know you got a lot of people to take care of, but Lord, if you're blessing, and I know that you are, please don't do it without me. No, 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 no. Don't do it without me. I just want you to say that last line. Say that last line. Don't do it without me. Let me hear you say it. Don't do it without me. Please, Jesus, don't do it without me. I know you got a lot of people to take care of. I need you. I need you. I want you to say it without the music. Don't do it without me. Come on. Don't do it without me. You gotta say it like you mean it. Don't do it. If you wanna be included, anybody wanna be included? I wanna be in the number, Jesus. Please, please don't. Please don't. Please don't do it without me. No, 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 no. Don't do it without me. Don't do it without me. Anybody want to be included tonight? It's so important, people of God, to get into the very presence of God. Nothing else matters now. In fact, I want you to find yourself right in the Holy of Holies.